수수도나 지다 비치나마도 디다케요 말했어. 이나야다 밖에 유단 디부 즉 낭패 간데 시작이에 메데 계상에 섭지 주레스. 펜도제 생인데 위칭이래. 아니 유단 디부 생인데 아니 개치서 차거라. 이근데 대화데 아니 개치서 차거라. 다때서 즉 깨르시 주토나 상도스.
Kone layan be gishete, kashi sheyembe.
Kashi zana dai totos link chena samgadus.
Yes. It's on.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm just not understanding why it's not making noise. I'm recording now, I'm just not.
Oh, okay. Gabriel said last Sunday we went through the section of non-Buddhist schools, and you can revise it again, read it again by yourself. But the important part is he mentioned briefly about cause and effect. What does cause mean when we talk about cause and effect? And something that benefits, we kind of general meaning for the cause, and how these two are related. And it's good to kind of understand these basic concepts we mentioned, from the point view of Buddhism.
Juice della muju de juju nide. Juju della ani unipendajite juji tingire. Musu pendaje muji tingise de dosu tingi dosu jagores.
And we will get, wants to kind of discuss a little more about cause and effect, and the cause itself is further categorized into two. Direct cause and indirect cause, and the meaning, is kind of sort of straightforward. That benefits directly, and that benefits indirectly is kind of defined as these two kind of cause, direct and indirect.
Gudela, yang Nerland lenji checking the nile gyore. Nerland sidigala rang zigin the susor kitchen. Lenji checking the rang zigin member the susor kitchen said the Duxini Jagores. Sing it around this.
Rang zigin zor kitchen.
Rang zigin to the susor kitchen. Zigin controche, anything new body, Taran zor kitchen. Zigin member.
And last time we also, another way of classifying cause, and we mentioned about immediate and what word did I use? Yeah, contributing factors. I'm sorry. Thank you, by the way, for the reminding. And the immediate cause is we define as a cause in which the substantial entity later kind of transform into the result. But for the contributing factor, that's not the case.
Yudan divin Tewade, Candice Jagorzana, Chut the lesson John Kaji, Humana Chut the Mequade, Yundin David Singiri. Tapena, Meda Tuani Chabaina, Tuate Militani John Kaji, Memena Tua Meguas. Takang, Tuesa Mayogore de Marizini, that's the Ayores, Yantasal Ayores.
Kakant was a male.
Oh, Tuate Militani Chunguruas. Memena tua me wadres. Ta tua yuna me yogure marizne kache yores. Link to che was mampote kaje.
And how cause and effect are related. We also mentioned this briefly before we said. So here, the relationship between these two is, the result has to rely upon cause for its existence, and without cause, there won't be any result. So Geshe said we'll use the example of smoke and fire. Smoke has to or must depend on fire for its existence, and without fire there will be no smoke. 매매는 도와용 말했었는데.
매매는 도와요 말했어. 도와매다 그냥 되게 생기래요.
So this is how these two are connected, and we define how cause and effect are connected. And when there's no fire, there won't be smoke. So this is how cause and effect are connected. But but we can also raise the question: is it necessary for the existence of fire when you see a smoke? There are many different ways of kind of use. So one of the logical statements that we use in order to conclude that there is a fire on the mountain, is the statement is there is a fire on that mountain because you see a smoke. So you use the existence of the smoke in order to prove that fire is there, because you can't see fire directly. So you say that there is a smoke or fire because there's a smoke. But again, we raise the same question. Does that necessarily always means that when I see a smoke, is there fire there?
다 두스치디가라 딱 아주 다통이 벽이 생긴지 있나? 데려 접어서야만 보여온 거 알았어. 다그 시강가 인지나 매지 두스치디가라 다 유진된데 대야마도 접어서 다녔더니 가버렸어. 그 유능하나 가버쳐 그랬어. 그 인지식을 당겨 말와.
The debating system, Geshe said, it would be much more convenient, if we debate this in kind of traditional, Tibetan monastic style, because there is a debating language that is, built up in the institution. So, it's very easy, convenient to kind of use the debate language. But for, kind of translate into English, probably it won't be so convenient, easy as in Tibetan, because there is no kind of the debate language, and it is not easy for the translator to kind of translate exactly the debating system into English from Tibetan.
The Pejayana mean to you my cabin Pejayana to think you cannot meota to a is the Tasatan Grace.
So Geshe said, to continue with the question that we raised before, if there's a smoke, there should be fire. If you make that kind of statement, then the another possibility is that smoke in. So this is the language. I don't know, but I will try to make closest as possible. Smoke in somebody's mouth. If you see smoke in somebody's mouth, does that mean that? So Geshe said, people who smoke, they have smoke in their mouth, but does that mean that? Does that mean that there is a fire in that person's mouth? And the previous statement that we made before, that proving of the existence of fire, through seeing smoke, that statement is considered as a valid logic. That it doesn't have false in itself. So if that is the correct and standard, then you have to have answer for this second question. Smoke in somebody's mouth, is there fire in that person's mouth? So you have to come up with kind of response because the established connection between cause and effect. We mentioned seeing smoke and proving the existence of fire is a valid and standard or correct.
Oda dus chene tendi chene chapcha pe mangbo yare junde dewe thola pe mizba chapa mangbo re. Oda dus chene junde gin dewa singdi ngone chi karsa gore. Yi ngobe nizule tende ginji. Ngone tinsa sendi bagune taga thola teje tang gore. Oda tendi indigala chi ngarang ju chi Indian is the teje tang yamida. Teso junde dewa ta pe mizba phagi dewa yonde kin chade re khare. Pugu tende imin thagna tagdo. Ale. Teso kanga junde tone dewa yonde ginji ko tanda pe gyujen te na dewa yonde ginji chade gore. Ko jing obene jula ngoni thenginji chade gore. Te indigala gangalo ne te thola samotang chi phagi chepar chetuna yabo gore.
So I guess that we just raised just example how we use debating in Buddhism, especially when we look at cause and effect, you can like debate and debate, can go for a very long time, intense debate, just for cause and effect, precepts, and the cause and effect and how these two are connected does based upon reality, because we see cause and effect in our day-to-day life, and it is also something that scientifically research and examine, because Geshe mentioned about DNA, when mothers gave birth to children, when they're checking whether mother is real mother or child is real child. So what they are actually looking at is cause and effect, how they are kind of connected and related. So these are something that is already kind of out there and connected to our day-to-day life, and it should be, Geshe said, helpful. You can think more and try to look more deeper, kind of logically, on top of what we are learning from the text.
지단은 낭바 코라 나라 낭바 쳐도 망보여 만다 망보여 힘이 나라 리 만다요 와다 티진이나 리 만다 망보여 유엔나니 베 간종의 유엔내기 낭바 치줄데 오네 트라니 도가 상라 만으로 봐 리파 이양다게 베지 땅에 유엔딩 된디 직당 오니 베 간종의 얘기마도 이갈갑 망부질라 낭바 여르데 대단 꼼빠 냠르체 투그러즈네 어다 갸탐바체 투야메다 갸탐바레스.
So generally, when we look at the Buddhism, you can find many different types and different ranges of Buddhism. Mahayana, higher vehicle, lesser vehicle, and within the Mahayana you can see subcategories of Mahayana, and within the lesser vehicle or Theravada you can see subcategories, and Buddhism in Tibet, Geshe said, is considered as a complete form. It has a complete form of both the sutra system as well as the tantra system, and it includes kind of complete logic, kind of a Buddhist science, and so many nations has many different types of Buddhism, but Buddhism flourish in Tibet is kind of 100% complete. And
jamgo는 뭐 저게 밖에 제바 개야 돼. 왜 가정은 유연되긴지 동아 상라 만나러 배 자갈 파베인 때나는 나는 tan이 백 기죽되게디 제바체시 땡주되게디 말아반 돼야 돼. 복강정 같은 친구 차고 그래. 뒤인데가라 디게디 해봐도 숭들에 냠는 전에 디 치료는 경험을 제바 개야 돼. 또 차려요. 뒤인데가라 견한도 디 돌아 제바 가서 제투비나 펜도 연구를 섬도마다 때 뇌기 즉 랩 지 가서래 릭박이 데미도 마선에 책이래. 대인도 빼면서 펜도용 그래.
And the Buddhism in Tibet, originally came from India, and within the India, it's based on Nalanda tradition, and and it kind of still maintained as it is. And His Holiness the Dalai Lama, he was so kind of successful in benefiting others, and it's because of this greatness of Buddhist teaching that kind of survived today. And but if you look at to India, nowadays we won't see that level of Buddhism, Buddhist study in India. So it's sort of completely lost. And so the point here is, this text study, Geshe-la said, the more you examine, study, the greater benefits that you will gain. So it will help you to kind of open, as we said before. It will serve as a key to open, big kind of subject or study of Buddhism.
오다 두스 지디갈라다 직하게 드니다 그상 지금 줘야 돼 유전 디분이라 무시자기도 때나지 무 담이다 자야요래 아니 아메리카 미다 민이라 무수마다 미도 아메리카 미다 잉글리 민이라 무시자기도 와 오다 두스 지니 무 지단데 지세나 아니 리베 워차레 마도 그 냠내네 펜도야 게 말해 depend.
And Geshe said we also discussed briefly about 4 possibilities, and we used the example of American and just human being, and try to kind of find out how many possibilities that we can find, and we saw kind of 3. Then also Geshe said if you use the same to like American citizen and British citizen, you can come up with like 4 possibilities of being both, being neither, one, and so these are simply ways of improving our analytical understanding. And in itself, it won't help you for your practice. It doesn't help, but it will help you to, kind of develop your ways of, analysis, kind of examining the logic.
Buddhist science kongra tenden roya chadi ores. Oda Buddhist nangpe science senri nangpe tache nangpe karsorta tindegi khapar nyamlenze de khapar mangbo jegi duas kemgro moche one checho ya chadi ores.
So these sort of things, Geshe said we can call a Buddhist science, because these are based on kind of scientifically understanding. And His Holiness the Dalai Lama kind of, categorize or classifies, Buddhism into different level practice, some philosophy and scientific Buddhism. And so it is kind of, true that, we can break up, Buddhism into different kind of levels.
오다 대지데 다 계산 버기 질부 버기 중다데 원이 치료도 중대나네 양 기전 체시 차고 와래 디 도스 기란소 로톰나 빼미스 야보래 질부비 버기 냠렘 받대서 원이 권한주 중다다 뒤니 냠렘 원이 셀데 냠렘 적인지래 이는 낭바다 개발 가르침 침발해서다 다 생인데 풍불을 던진 배지 다 된데 다 렌룹진데 뒤에 인디 단지 머리벌 균이 많아 인자 코랄 뚫어 매긴 차버 냠는 셀데 냠는 찍으래 레균데 땡땡 켈링그래 그래서 껴왕같이 땡땡 켈링인 차대요 그랬어.
And from the text, last time we went through the one non-Buddhist school. It's on page 166 if you have a book, Mimamsak, or Mimansava Nirgrantha. No, I'm sorry, Nirgrantha, page 167. Jains, so Jains in Tibetan word is Cherpuva, which means Geshe-la didn't say it, but it's my own note. Cherpuva means naked, somebody who practices mainly staying with not wearing clothes any. And this school, non-Buddhist school, is considered as one of the important non-Buddhist school who has deep kind of philosophy and very highly high level of practice. And but the main difference here is we mentioned this before. How the interpretation of self in this school, Jain, they considered or they accept self as something totally different from or totally separate from aggregate or body. That self exists, truly, or self has an inherent existence. And so, to Buddhism, that is the basic flaw in their, in their philosophy. And from Buddhist point of view, since they accept, they believe self as an independent existing, totally, totally separate from body. That is the reason why they are still in cyclic existence or samsara. They are not able to free themselves, from samsara. But they do, believe in cause and effect, which is same as Buddhism, cause and effect precept, or you can say karma or law of causality. They do believe in a rebirth system, just like Buddhism.
Quran dina sebu duat, zombas dingala pe pagina zombas de zabango barchepa, le sardu miso bichiris. Tindugala le kheli malina le sarsada le zegiri se de kachadi yonga kuna yomarwas.
And the acceptance of karma, cause and effect, is very kind of precise in what they mention in their in their philosophy. 167 page. I think it's the second paragraph under the the Nirgrantha. Contamination is virtuous or non-virtuous actions, because on account of actions one falls into cyclic existence. So here, from this very sentence, we can see that they accepts virtuous and non-virtuous, and without karmic precepts, this won't come up in their system.
Jirbubi le khelingi yoba kunde dina dus labgare ta jibade nebragawa sinde ta nebragawa sinde kandeji rezana kommi dungwa da lu dungwa la sobe katub jogone ngon sabe le nam zeprachawo sitita peke nyamlenchi eni pe katubche lui eni jirbunde dus cheneni jidigala franzo peke nyamlenchi ne eni le zegire sita tela nebragawa Chuani lobertawa was Lenin number Jide, Ching Yorkiwatan, Mindang, Ruintan, Tewao, Vipani, Chun Mimbawas, Deda, Dipadam, Dipamahimba Kelly, Dipat, Chun Mahingandela, Dipache, Chun Imbadela, Gewa, Randa Tangitagi in a manner, Kanji, Dipamahimba to Shigare. Sonam is Chesos, Ta, Sonam, the Sidigala. Nangbe de la Kebra Manguche, Sonam de la Kebra Manguche, Gorans, Chis in the Sonam skin, the Tondaji Bajago. Tarbani, Luigi Bu, Ngami Mamba, Mengan Dombalas of a Katu Yogone, Marchekile, Zetchings, Le Sardumas of Jiten Tam, Cheki Tana Dube, Jiten Dubajan, Dukarbo, General Tabo, Jom, Kumutu Kawatan, Fazem Bunda, Jangabe, so you be moving, Coral to Mobomeva in Batendro. Netherlands, Tarbaje Jetos, the Tape, Jirbubi Tarbal, or the Nichi killing Gores.
And we were going through the 9, categories, page 167. So we read first 3, life, contamination, and restraint. Now we'll start from the 3rd, bearing down. This is on 4th, sentence from bottom of page 167. Wearing down is exhaustion of previously accumulated actions, that is karmic matter, by way of asceticism, such as not drinking liquids, physical hardships, and so forth. So here, physical hardships here includes staying naked without wearing any clothes. A bond is a wrong view. Actions are of four types. The determiners of the general experience in a later life, of name, of lineage, and of lifespan. Sin is non-virtue. Merit is virtue. So you can see here they also accepts merit, which in Buddhism does, but in Buddhism it has many different levels of meaning. So probably not exactly same as what merit means to Buddhism. And they also, it says that merit is a virtue. Because said virtue, when they said virtue, is not sure whether virtue means positive activities or not. Virtue usually in Tibetan refers to positive activities. Now it tells liberation according to this school. Liberation is the following: by resorting to deeds of asceticism, such as going naked, not speaking, the 5 fires in front, back, and on both sides, and the sun above, and so forth, all previous actions, accretions of karmic materials, are consumed, and liberation, a state that lacks all contaminations of good and bad actions, is attained. Because actions are not newly accumulated, one goes to a place that is at the top of all worlds, called consummation of the worlds. It is like a white umbrella held upside down, white like yogurt, and the esculent white water lily, the size of 4,500,000 yojanas. Because this place has life, it is a thing. Because it is free from cyclic existence, it is also a non-thing. This place is called liberation.
Jawa tamba zini chirbu tambare. Tembe karasunerza kawa yabe medo tong wajo umo mudindo. Lugarzo inra tarba imba yabe she se ta dus chene khung de tere. Age khung ti chene. Ta je jungs. Yampem ba se de ta nepal yopal me partawa. Tangoni cheta toji yampem ba jar gore. Legune me nege kota pe dosu chik. Yampem ba ni kiawangachi dir onwa des. Kiawanga ba jabane sugyang matong ichis. Matong rang matong me gure bezeni. Ta ling tang jago. Korang ke kiawanga ma yo mares. Kiawanga ma suin korang tape lula thung yo mares gole. Lui lubru wale ene mena ta kandisi ke barese lui de lubur de tubres ta phami hagi weekend juni samadang goma lui lubur de tubale o lui lubur de tubale sem lubur de tubres sem de lubur de tub lui de lubur de tub pe de karjana marme lubur de tub o lubur de tub jino stella ta ti ngoni ngaranso thongju singyowa 재산 첸다스인데 쳇버다는 이 유전 데미지 마다 라고 말했어.
And this school, they based they did the quote here, and it's Rashaba. Gina said is their founder of their faith. Gina explains that liberation has the color of snow, the incense flower, cow's yogurt, frost and pearl, the shape of a white umbrella. The next school, Lokyatha or Sharvakas, hedonist. This school is considered as the, from Buddhist point of view, it's a nihilist, because they says that although something exists, they says it doesn't exist. So the Lokyatha say that one does not come to this life from a previous life because no one perceives previous lives. So you can see here one basic their concept. They says that there is no life after death, no another life, because their reason is nobody sees that, nobody sees it. So that's how they use their logic. And now here, you can raise the question: does it mean that if you don't see it doesn't? Does it mean that if you don't see it, it doesn't exist? you can raise this question. So, next page. From an adventitious body, our mind is adventitiously established, just as light is adventitiously established from the adventitious existence of a lamp. So basically, what they are saying is that body just appears suddenly. It just pops up. And it's like they used the example of lamp. So. Again, when you look at the, why, and when they try to look at the why is this, they because of being a nihilist, they have limited their kind of logical, sort of support for their statement.
다 로니슈 공기 사이즈 반 바처럼 라보 차고 와이스. 로니슈 공기 사이즈 바트도 왜 점니 전다 켈링입니다. 가르스는 마통 유진 때가라마도 유진 전다요 말이. 다 지금 오늘 테크놀로지 때 야겐 로디가라 점니 전다 켈링 거래. 통도 켈링 거래. 켈링도 감에 켈렌들라 동자슈 로도르근 지디가라 야게 지점 로지 론도 도고다. 맞아 릭바다네. 전된데 그 파게 릭베 많이 없사. 애니 룽세마 이시체니 독스체니 되가라 로니동 알게잖아 단다잖아 캘린더를 넣어야 개요 말은 뭐네잖아 빼미스바 템포레리어.
And Guru said, this probably is the same with the scientific findings before maybe a couple of decades ago. And the scientists, they says that other planets or other worlds doesn't exist, and the only reason that they give is we don't see it. So that's kind of now as the technology improves, as they see more kind of universe out there or planets, they start to changing because now they keep up what they said before, and they and but in Buddhism, what we are relying upon is the teachings of Buddha, and Buddha has shown kind of logical ways of learning the reality of the phenomena. And first we use logical understanding, how, why, as much as we can. And when we when we are unable to reach with using a logical approach, then what we do is we rely upon scriptures, because scripture says this, that's why it should be valid. So because of these two kind of step or process of understanding or establishing the reality, you won't see much changes in Buddhist kind of point of standpoint view. It's kind of stable, much more stable kind of.
그런저이나 릭바 가짜 투투 릭바다 릭바 마투베 가사드라 이니 제니 롱세만 디지거마도 수술 릭바 여긴 로마주르지 룽세마 땅보 룽세만 제바이나 디 누르거레스 전데네랑 세저다베 세저도 라버탈라 나이까 라마르체 꾸치민제 숨도 때문에 저는 전데네 가서 직 하기 나상기 니 랍샤게데 이체제데 숨도 같이 숨고 말 대수이나 니 남체 용게 남체 가르고 남체 던두고 인디 점대네 가서 직 남체 등이 꼬갑대 버려. 뒷 꼬갑대 라치고요 말이지.
And like you said, we for ourselves, when we study, it is we should kind of follow the same sequence. It should be really helpful because we start with the using our kind of analytical understanding, and use our own kind of intelligence, try to seek out the meaning or reality, whatever that you are trying to understand. Then when you reach the point where your analytical is no more kind of expired or not working, then you can rely upon scriptures. That is where kind of scripture comes to support your ways of learning. Otherwise, if you flip, if you start from the scripture, then that kind of creates as a barrier for your learning. If you start from the beginning that scripture says that, then that's why I believe, and without using your kind of intelligence, your kind of analytical understanding. And for the same reason, very common words that Buddha said at the beginning of his teaching, that just like you examine the purity of gold by cutting, scratching, and burning, examine my teaching and follow it, not because I'm enlightened or I'm Buddha. So here, Buddha is very kind of openly, precisely saying that follow my teaching. He's not saying that follow my teaching because I'm enlightened, I'm a Buddha. He's saying that use your intelligence, use your brain, examine, investigate, and then you can respect or learn. And what we can see here is that here Buddha is providing us opportunity to investigate, analyze, use our own power to learn and come to the conclusion. And so he is giving us this kind of great opportunity as a Buddhist practitioner follower, and we shouldn't be kind of losing this great opportunity that he provided to us.
Oda dus chide ta yawa dini chimar roa yang metes ta tanchen bagi yawa dini chimar roa yo maris karsal listen zeji is luin jibana loyang jibeche fena don jibana do rimun jibaje nos do gal la rimu yende ginjina do charo de gala rimu de ta charo kwa pata tendi te samji pela yawa nga chime be ten zawangin tu mar mido ade ripa tangwaye yo ripe thanin chikre niba kewa ngachi tendengengi jiba chunju mangbo ore dige munsumla lagendela enipe gyuzen de ne yong ore mangbo dang에 khangde ore oda teni indigala dizu gyuzen tanang re gyuzen yang ta cha go mare tenan di jachala rangchendang semala ngusum sema jibur do des jebatsam jizenda jebatsama kemile michirus jachala nangsi chudegen rang matona mendegen maton meina american degen yangpen baina jagar merese gora jakab jenda merese gojege indugala ngusum de nyogudo pata indugala ji ta semasidu gandhi jakore ngaranzo nangbageni sartu miluripa semitsingi total ta themala ngusum de jabaz ne mangbu chero korang de jaba killing mare gyuzen teni gyuzen andale teni ngeba nyeji killing korang yo mare tindukala wada tizukanga gyuzen gyun diga yambengi kepran gaji ngobo tamje yume par ngoni le chong da des ta ngobo khaji gyun ma che ngoni korang rangjung yo res karsa nisha chu turdum baba ta nima sharwa ta chu turdum baba tu suije yo mares korang jidin je baba ke ling yo mare na ani tema rezi zong sures zene thara yo marwas korang rangjung kere ma do ani thermagi pagi te nombu yo ye sizore rangjung kere ma rangjung re ma do di gyugen jenda yo mare jidin je babo jenda ke chesha ke mare majin dol ani mavjagin do shobagin dana te do sizore rangjung chungare sugyama ngo ni le chung majin dol so be chenum ko sugyama ngo ni le je zero marba tawangamba mudal tejebe chirul tute najin malipa leprachede peprachabane harbe tondu jobi temki cho je parkab ki thisu chebao tadu sene chirul bade zore tai ne nangbat jera ma jin ko su ngore
With the waiting page 169, they also don't believe in as said before, rebirth system. Also, one does not go to a future life from this life because body and mind are one entity, and therefore, when the body perishes, the mind also perishes. For example, when a stone is destroyed, a design on the stone is likewise destroyed. And from Buddhist point of view, whatever the logic that they use is considered as kind of seemingly correct, which kind of is not valid, not correct. So because from Buddhist point of view, Geshe-la not going to want to hear, right? So Geshe-la said, from Buddhist point of view, because in Buddhism there is, life after birth, right? Rebirth system, and first, Buddhists use the logic. There are many different ways of logic or reasoning or evidence to prove that there is a life, after that, and they have life before, this life. And the second is that they use kind of real-like experience of little kids remembering their past life. And but if we based on what this school is saying, something doesn't exist because I don't see it, then followers of this school in America probably must come to the conclusion that there is no other nation because he don't see directly, or there are a lot of things out there that he or she don't see. So this not seeing is not valid reason to Buddhism. It's of course not enough, very limited. And continue with the reading. Thus, this system maintains that all objects of comprehension, all existence, are necessarily specifically characterized. That is, directly perceived phenomena, and all valid cognitions are necessarily direct valid cognitions. This is because they do not accept that generally characterized, that is, only inferentially perceived phenomena or inferential valid cognition exist. So, in Buddhism, valid cognitions has two levels. The first one is direct valid cognition that we can see directly, and the second is inferential knowledge. And there are things that we can prove its existence through logical or through inferential knowledge. You don't have to be seeing directly. Some reading continuously. Some ayatthas assert that all phenomena whose causes cannot be directly perceived arise from their own nature causelessly. So they also believe in without cause things exist. They say the rising of the sun, the running downwards of a river, the roundness of peas, the sharpness of thorns, the eyes of peacock feeders, and so forth, all phenomena arise from their own nature without being made by anyone. So, so as you see here, sun rising, river falling down, and, peas and its shape, they says that, nobody creates this. And you can see here they don't accept the concept of creator. Nobody will, people, whoever the creator is that, how can they have a time creating every pea round and nice shape? If somebody's creator, it has to be creating all. So they don't accept, in creator, the concept of creator, nor do they accept, the cause. These are, these are things that happen by nature, by their own nature. And the last stanza between sections is, a rung on the ladder to the city of liberation is the understanding and abandoning of all types of outsiders' tenets, which are faults to extreme of bad views. So next we will start Buddhist, philosophy, Great Exposition School. We'll take a break here.